to go to Election Day tomorrow night. Your Ride Factor's on. Tonight,
we have well over 1,000 employees at Durrell. 80% of them are Hispanic.
Donald Trump campaigning heavily in Florida, but cancels an interview with a Latina journalist. Why? We will tell you. Americans may be rejecting the Black Lives Matter movement in great numbers. Don't shoot! I want to grow up. Even minority Americans will have a stunning new report.
There are also people also really excited for Hillary, right?
Also ahead, Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry, and other young stars trying to help Hillary Clinton. Gutto McGurk have some thoughts on that. Caution, you are about to enter the no spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Is our political system rigged? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. With 2 weeks left in perhaps the nastiest presidential race in history, many Americans just want the whole thing to end. But Donald Trump has raised the specter of a fixed election. He says the system is rigged. Bernie Sanders also said that.
We will no longer tolerate an economy and a political system that has been rigged by Wall Street to benefit the wealthiest Americans in this country at the expense of everyone else.
Senator Sanders putting forth that big money controls voting patterns as well as the marketplace. Sanders, by the way, got hosed by his own party because many of the so-called super delegates were locked in for Hillary long before Sanders started hurting her in the primary. So that primary system for the Democrats was rigged, for sure, against Sanders. Donald Trump sees the rigged thing a bit differently, believing that the left-leaning media, combined with suspect voting patterns, is how the political system is rigged. So let's look at the facts. With more than 100 million Americans voting, it is virtually impossible for the actual vote tally to be rigged. However, a Pew study says that there are serious problems involving voter registration. Is it legal? We'll take a hard look at that in just a few moments. On the media front, there's no question Americans are not getting objective reporting, generally speaking. That's because so many journalists are committed to the left. So many Republicans and conservative candidates faced rigged coverage. Also, there's growing evidence that our justice system has been compromised, and because Hillary Clinton's right in the middle of that, a case can be made that the election had been rigged in her favor by investigative authorities. A very powerful Wall Street Journal editorial today lays it out. Quote, evidence keeps turning up, suggesting that the FBI probe into Hillary Clinton's emails was influenced by political favoritism and double standards, unquote. The latest is the number 2 man in the FBI, Andrew McCabe. His wife, Dr. Jill McCabe, received close to $700,000 from a close friend of Hillary Clinton's Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe. Dr. McCabe was running for the state Senate in Virginia. A McAuliffe-controlled PAC gave her the money. She lost the election anyway. Now, at the time, Hillary Clinton was being investigated by the FBI, and Andrew McCabe was involved in that investigation. So, McCabe should have recused himself. If your wife is getting $675,000 from one of Hillary Clinton's closest friends, you don't investigate Hillary Clinton. The appearance of corruption is staggering. Talking Points is not saying there is corruption, but the optics are awful, and FBI Director James Comey had to know that. If you combine the McCabe stuff we just told you about, with Comey not calling for a grand jury and basically giving Secretary Clinton every benefit of every doubt, again, you have the appearance of impropriety. So it's no surprise that many Americans, including Mr. Trump, believe the system is rigged. Did I mention Attorney General Loretta Lynch meeting with Bill Clinton during the investigation? I mean, come on. Again, the vote cannot be possibly rigged 2 weeks from tonight. And Mr. Trump should accept whatever happens at that vote unless there's compelling evidence of corruption. Undermining our electoral system is not a patriotic thing. But overall, if you don't think the federal political and justice system has severe problems, you are living in the land of Oz. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. Joining us from Washington, James Holman, national political correspondent for the Washington Post, who has been looking into the FBI Virginia situation. Did I leave anything out? Did I make any mistakes, Mr. Holman?
The FBI is pushing back very, very hard. Terry McAuliffe also pushing back hard on this idea that they knew about it at the time. Kind of the backstory, it started in March 2015. Terry McAuliffe wanted to expand Obamacare, wanted to expand Medicaid in Virginia. He needed a couple seats in the state Senate. They recruited this woman, Jill McCabe, and McAuliffe sat down with her and her husband, now the number 2 man at the FBI. At the time, he was the head of the Washington field office of the FBI. The FBI says that's the only time that this guy, Andrew McCabe, and Governor McAuliffe ever met in person.
Okay, let me stop you there. So the FBI agent, then number 3, in charge of the Washington investigative agency arm of the FBI, meets with McAuliffe, who he knows is Hillary Clinton, one of Hillary Clinton's best friends, accepts, because he knew that the money was going to come from McAuliffe, accepts the fact that his wife is taking $700,000 about, all right, and then continues to investigate Hillary Clinton. All he had to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, all McCabe had to do is say, you know what, I'm going to recuse myself here because my wife is involved with the Democratic machine and Hillary Clinton is being investigated by my agency. Wouldn't that have been the wise thing to do?
The FBI is saying that he did recuse himself from all Virginia public corruption cases. He didn't go to any of her campaign events. And he
But
did
this
not
isn't a Virginia corruption case. This is a national. Did
They
you
say
see,
that
Mr.
he didn't
Holman,
take control of the
as
FBI.
a reporter, did you see an FBI memo saying that Mr. McCabe recused himself from the investigation of Secretary Clinton? Have you seen that?
No, what they're saying is that he didn't end up getting control of the investigation until after the election.
I don't
after she
care.
lost.
Look, you and I are journalists. I don't care what they're saying. I care about evidence and appearances.
The optics are terrible,
Okay.
no question.
You have not seen a memo from the FBI that Mr. McCabe recused himself from the Hillary Clinton investigation, and I have not seen it because it does not exist. It does not exist. So that's the fact, and we start there. The director of the FBI, Comey, should have insisted upon it. He did not. The director of the FBI then went out, all right, and refused to ask for a grand jury about the Hillary Clinton email situation, okay, and then said he believed that there was no criminal intent. All of these things do not make a credible investigation when you put the facts together.
I think, in retrospect, they probably would have handled it differently,
All right.
unquestionably.
Okay, in retrospect. But it still can be reopened.
Right. Well, the FBI, again, they put out a press release, maybe not a binding thing, but in their press release they stressed Jim Comey still had the final word on the Hillary email investigation, not this guy.
Right. But do you believe, and this is an opinion question, but it's based upon your reportage, do you believe that the FBI knows how bad this looks?
I think people within the FBI realize that it does look very bad. I think they believe no criminal act was committed, but of course that doesn't keep track of the optics, which is,
right.
I think people, when you're at the FBI, you think in terms of, did you break the law? Was a law broken? Was a rule broken? So you can say we followed the rules, we followed the letter of the law, but in this situation it does, yes, look terrible, and especially 2 weeks before an election.
That's right.
And it fits into this broader narrative, of course.
Because the FBI didn't bring this forth, somebody else brought it forth, and it is just not what our top investigative agency should be doing. Storm, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Next on the rundown, a new hacker leak shows that President Obama may have known Hillary Clinton was using a private server, even though the president said he did not know. Then later, Black Lives Matter has demonized American police, but there's a new study that shows the group has no blanket idea what they're talking about.